It's January the 11th. This is Video Diary Podcast number 4. It's supposed to be the day of my colonoscopy, but it's been cancelled. Come with me and find out why, how, what, where, when, and all of the other words. Welcome to my YouTooSpain diary. Hi, Scats here. It's Thursday the 11th of January and I should have been doing the flush out last night and the procedure today. I was all ready, I was all done, I'd done all the build up for you and everything, but it's been cancelled, so why? I could possibly be a complete and utter idiot. Answers on a postcard, please. No, don't do that, because I know what you're going to say. Let's just flip back a little in time to before Christmas, when I got the appointment date. I went into the health centre, I spoke to the receptionist and said, can I make an appointment for the week before the colonoscopy so I can pick up the medication, the flushy outy potion stuff, and get all of the instructions and stuff that I need to have? And the receptionist said, just follow me, I'll take you in and you can see the doctor now. It was actually the paramedic doctor. She was all in the paramedic clothes. She gave me the potions, 2 sachets in a box and stuff, and talked me through that whole process, the whole flushing out process. One of them the evening before the procedure, the other one 5 hours before it. Then after all of that and making sure I'd understood that, she gave me all of the bits of paper with the instructions on it. She said, here we go, that's in Spanish, that one's in English, and that was it. Let's fast forward now to this week, Tuesday night. I thought, I'll just have a quick look at the instructions in advance of Wednesday, which is when I was going to do the first potion. I thought, yeah, let's just read through and make sure I know what I'm doing tomorrow. You know, I thought a couple of days before the procedure, that would be enough. That was what was in my head, and that's what I'd put in the diary as well. I'd put a little thing saying, this is the potion day. And then it said on the top of the English instructions, 3 days before the colonoscopy. And my head went, oh no. And it said, you've got to go on a low fibre diet. At the bottom of the sheet of paper, there were the instructions of which foods you can eat, low fibre, and which foods you can't eat that aren't low fibre. And on the don't eat under any circumstances list, there were nuts, fat, so that's cream and butter, and a few other things. And of course I'd had nuts, I'd had cream in my coffee, I'd had some soft cheese, I'd had some cream with some chicken and stuff, and also the big one, no vegetables. I'd had some cauliflower and some broccoli, not all that much of it, but of course I'd had it on both of those 2 days, the third day before and the second day before. Oh dear. Thing is, I'd had quite liquid poo for about the last week. I thought, well, is it going to make any difference? Surely I'm going to be flushed out already, even without taking the flushing stuff. But the flushing stuff is just going to go, it's just going to add to the general flushing that I've been having. So should I just ignore it and just go along anyway? And, you know, but I came to the sensible decision that just in case they said no when I got there and discovered that when they started putting the tube up that I had food and fat and stuff still left in there clinging to the walls of me colon, I thought, no, I don't want to go through the whole flushing out process again later on, and then, you know, a new appointment, all that kind of thing, and then go through the whole procedure. And anyway, Tuesday night, too late to call, so I had to go to bed thinking I'll have to call them in the morning and find out. So yesterday morning, Wednesday morning, I called them. As soon as I was awake, still in bed, they put my laptop on my knee because I'd made a list of what I'd actually eaten, thinking, well, you know, let's talk to them about it, because it was only small amounts actually. I only had 1 piece of broccoli and 1 piece of cauliflower, you know, 1 floret, is that what they call it? I got through to the colonoscopy department, whatever it was. There was nobody there who could speak English. I tried to say a few things in Spanish, but I'd only just woken up. I was too tired to say in Spanish what I needed to say, and I also wanted to ask questions and you know, hold some kind of a conversation to see whether it was really as important as it said on the piece of paper. Absolutely none of this. Okay, so, and especially on the Tuesday, I'd only eaten little bits and had very little to eat at all. So anyway, communication wasn't working. They said, we do have a translator here based at the hospital. Now, I'm always a little bit nervous making phone calls. You wouldn't think it. I've always been a bit of an introvert, especially when I was a kid. Can you believe it, with me doing this now? But anyway, it's true. So I was, my heart was thumping a bit after going through that when I was half asleep anyway. So anyway, I looked on the laptop, found the translator's number, got through. She wasn't English, but she was European. So I'm talking to somebody in not their native language. Her English was pretty good though. She was in a noisy background. Presumably she was in the hospital at the time. I gave her a brief outline of the problem and she got on the phone to the right team. I could hear what she was saying. She spoke, she heard the reply, and then she put the phone down. So there was no chance of sort of carrying on any kind of conversation. And she just told me, oh, right, it's been cancelled. Give me your number and your medical card number so that they can call you to rebook. I can't complain about the translator. She's a volunteer. It's a wonderful organisation she works for. It's good that they're in the hospital. So I was mostly completely pissed off with myself. I mean, what an idiot in the first place for not being able to speak good enough Spanish or have the confidence to speak enough Spanish. So slapping myself around the face for that. Well, also, I hadn't set a reminder for earlier in the week. I hadn't read the paperwork right back in December. I should have checked earlier in the week, given myself a bit more of a run-up, if that's not too much of a pun. It could so easily have been avoided. Also, a friend of mine who used to be a nurse that I'd seen at my gig on Saturday night, she said, well, I think it's a good idea that you should, for several days beforehand, you should be, don't eat this, don't eat that. Should have listened to her more. So I was just sat in bed, depressed for a while, unable to get myself out of this fog of despair. I'd planned anyway on having a relaxing day leading up to the flushing out process. This was on Liz's orders, very, very sensibly. I didn't know how long it would be before they called back so that I knew when I was going to have an appointment. Was it going to be another 10 months before they gave me an appointment? As a punishment for not doing it right. Well, they wouldn't do that, but were they going to put me to the back of the list or something like that? It was only half an hour, and then they called back. Somebody who could speak really good English. I think one of the receptionists, but she had a doctor beside her there. They gave me a new date of February the 1st, so that's exactly 3 weeks' time, on a Thursday again. That was a big relief. The other thing was, it was much earlier in the day this time. The first one was at 5 o'clock in the evening. Then she said for this one, 20 past 10 in the morning. And I thought, oh, that's going to make the timing of the potion flush out a little bit more difficult. So I said, right, let's talk through the timetable. So she talked through it and she said, right, so 8 o'clock the evening before. And I was thinking, well, that's a bit weird because surely you need to have it 24 hours, more or less 24 hours before you're going to be doing the procedure. But then no, she said definitely 8 o'clock the previous evening. And then she said the second dose at 5 o'clock in the morning, the day of the procedure. Whoopee! So that actually doesn't give me anywhere near as much time as I had supposed to have been doing today. I'm not going to get any sleep or rest at all really in between. I don't know how long from 8 o'clock when I take the spooky flushy outy potion. I don't know how long that's going to last for. How long am I going to be doing the cramps? How long before it goes whoosh and then and it kind of calms down? There's got to be some kind of time limit to it. Anyway, let's say that takes 3 hours. That's 11 o'clock at night. I've got to be up at before 5 o'clock in the morning to get myself all sorted out and everything in the cups, because you've got to put 4 cups of the potion and 4 cups of water. The potion's in water, by the way. But anyway, so you basically do the mixing up and put it in 4 glasses, and then you get 4 glasses of water. Supposed to be cold water as well from the fridge. So I'm going to have to go downstairs while half awake and do all of this potioning, bring it all up, and then make sure it's all ready for 5 o'clock in the morning. So not going to have much rest then, and that takes, with all of these 4 glasses of stuff and 4 glasses of water. You've got to have a 15-minute break in between each of them. So that's about 2 hours. Then it's 3 hours until the procedure. So then she talked me through the instructions for what to eat, but they were different from the printed ones. Yeah, there was discussion with the doctor all the time to kind of confirm what she was talking about, but she was talking about it differently. She didn't say 3 days before. She was saying, right, on day 1, and I was saying 3 days before. She just said day 1, and she confirmed, yes, so that's day 1, yes, confirmed with the doctor. Right, day 1, she said, you do the low fibre thing that it says on your sheet. Day 2, you just have liquids. So you can have, you know, water, tea, coffee, and she mentioned a few other liquids that I can't really have on the keto diet. So I just thought, right, well, it's water. I'm just going to fast that day on water and maybe have a coffee. Black coffee, obviously. Can't have any cream in it. As she was describing this, I kept asking and checking, is day 1 3 days before? Or, you know, do I do 2 days of fasting after the low fibre? And then is the evening? So which day is day 3? Is that when I take the potion the night before, and then day 4 is the procedure? And it wasn't completely clear. No matter how much I asked, she just kept starting off the on day 1 and just so there was a bit of a language barrier there. If she was actually saying day 1 was 2 days before, then that means that I'd actually done very little wrong this time, because I didn't eat very much yesterday anyway. I thought, let's play safe this time and assume that day 1 is 3 days before, so I can have the low fibre thing. There's very little on there that's keto. There's hard cheese, appropriately. That's a bit of a pun. Ironic, isn't it? And day 2 and 3, I'm just going to have liquids. For me, that's only really water and coffee, like I said. And day 3 then is the first dose at 8 o'clock in the evening. And then I'm calling day 4 the procedure day. And it says on that sheet of paper that you saw earlier with the low fibre things on, no food or drink from 3 hours before, which is kind of cutting it fine, because the flushing out thing from 5 o'clock in the morning is going to go on till 7. That only leaves me 3 hours and 20 minutes. I'm quite used to fasting. As you'll have heard on previous videos, I've done up to 4 days fasting before. I'm not really worried about that. In fact, I think it's quite healthy for me. There's going to be some autophagy going on, which is something I'll talk about in future videos. So I'm being better safe than sorry. I'll lose weight. I'll be healthier for it. There are some big benefits. There's always a sense of elation when you do a fast like that. That means I'm going to have no food from, I'd say, Monday at about 5 o'clock in the evening or 6 o'clock in the evening until sometime in the middle of Thursday. The question is, and I didn't actually ask this question, and I should have done, I said, how long does it take? And they said half an hour. But Liz said, well, when other people that I know have had it done, they have to leave you there for a little bit, maybe for a few hours, to make sure they've not done anything wrong, like perforated your bowel. They have to just make sure that you're okay before they discharge you. So I'm not going to get any food, I don't think, until sometime middle of the afternoon. So it is going to be almost 3 whole days. You also get the wind and the discomfort, apparently, because they pump you full of air to blow out the colon so they can see what's going on. I've not felt that it's safe to fart for a long time. Liz said, be careful you don't shart the bed. I said, well, will I be in bed, or will they have said you can get dressed now? In which case, how many sets of clothes should I take with me? Should I just wear one of those big nappies? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. That bit, I'm almost more nervous of farting than I am of the rest of the operation. I've had some comments and some stories from you. Some of them are very reassuring. Most of them, in fact, very reassuring. Some of them a little bit scary. I am actually going to tell you some of these stories that some people have sent me and told me. I've asked people, is it okay to tell people the story? And I won't mention names anyway, but I think you need to know, because some of these are really, really funny. The other thing is, I'm going to be thinner by the time the procedure happens, which is probably good. I'm going to be more healthy. I've been going out on walks. I've been on 2 good walks this week with Liz and the dogs. That's been really good, and I think that's going to do me good because there's the metabolism that will be improving, and that will help with the weight loss. And I think I'm definitely in ketosis now. I'll tell you why on future videos. So today's been the sort of day that I didn't plan, and yesterday was the sort of day I didn't plan. I did some office stuff yesterday, and I got the Wednesday video out and publicised that. That was good, and I planned what I was going to do and say on this video. I'm going to use the time that I've got that I wouldn't have had because I'd have been in hospital today to do some other interesting stuff, like I said, the walk. And also I got some special stands to put my phone in the car so that I can have my phone pointing out at the road. So it's a one that attaches to the is it the visor, the sun visor? Yeah, it attaches around that, and apparently that doesn't bounce. It's got a kind of a softening thing on it. Anyway, so that should be a nice smooth picture of the road. And I've got also one that fits on the passenger seat. Well, it fits on any seat, on the thing that you put your head on the bars of that, and it can hold my iPad. So I'll have my iPad looking at me so that I can be talking and you can get a picture of me, a picture of the road, and I should be able to make some videos like that as well while I'm driving around, and I can give you some news updates and things like that. It'll make it a little bit more interesting rather than me sitting in front of a couple of blurred colons and talking to you like that. By the way, you can actually just play it as a podcast. That's why I'm just doing face to camera and not showing you that many images. It's also quicker, and because now I'm making 3 videos a week, I haven't got as much time to do loads and loads of editing. Don't forget, you can buy me a coffee or 3.com at the link below the video. Please support what I'm doing because that will keep me making videos and keep me helping people and keep me entertaining you. Hopefully this is entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting. Be good to each other. Peace and love. See you in the next video. Bye.